email me, message me on Facebook. I will take them. Leather is my new problem. This is the shoulder bag, and I'll show a video clip which shows how it's modeled here. The image is of scapula, the shoulder blades, and you can't see, but down the center is just a strip of python leather. The shoulders are a drawing that I did that I reversed, so I inverted the colors. This is me with a customer a few weeks ago. She purchased the white bag, and I was showing the clutch with the eyeball printed underneath the top flap. It's a really cool flesh-colored or taupe-colored Italian patent leather, and the piping is fabric that I printed from that signature image that I started using a little over 10 years ago. So from the eyeball bag, I decided to make a whole series of food bags. This is the cheeseburger bag, which is actually being photographed for an editorial tomorrow morning. As I was making this bag, I was getting ridiculously hungry. It's a delicious looking burger. The French fry bag. This is a photo I took at Newport Creamery, and I took one of their French fries and dried it out, lacquered it, preserved it, and stuck it on the top flap of the bag. I've since learned that the actual real French fries become very, very brittle. I've seen a couple of these bags come back, so I've started using a fake French fry that's produced by a fake food company in New York. This is the bacon bag. This is an iPad-sized clutch, a photograph of bacon with a strip of rubber fake bacon going across the front of the bag. Donut bag. This is that signature print from years ago, and I decided I had a toy car sitting around, so I stuck it on the top flap of the bag. I thought it was pretty cool. So then I started taking more toy cars and scanning them in on all different sides to get images of all the various sides of these toy cars, printing them onto canvas, and then sewing them up into the bags with the cars that I scanned on the top flap of the bag. So you pull the top flap and open it, but the car stays onto the bag. I sew through the axles of the car using a bonded nylon thread, a really strong thread, and then epoxy the wheels of the car in place. This is another one of the car bags. This is a larger version, and you actually turn the car and the top flap pops up on the bag. These are a couple of other prints of the car bags. This is what the canvas looks like when it comes out of the printer. I can fit two of the prints side by side. I discovered that when I drew my pattern onto the back side and cut them out, that I was wasting a lot of material. And when you're wasting material, such as ink and canvas, you're wasting money. So I took the pattern and I just drew it up in Illustrator and laid it right down on top of the print. This is the same amount of canvas, the same amount of ink, and I was able to get the third bag printed on the same, this is a custom bag for a store in Barrington, printed on that same piece of material. So I've reduced my cost, I've increased my profit. I have continued my business for one more day because of this very small change that I was able to make. I showed this. This is a Proenza Schuler spring 2013 dress, only $3,000. It's a photograph that they took of a crowd, a city crowd, I think outside of their office in New York, that they printed onto satin. They punched the eyelets into the dress. I think it's beautiful. Very similar technology to what we all have access to through Spoonflower. This is a bag that they made using the same print. They are also heat fusing, thermal printing, or heat fusing the image onto leather, same way as the company that whose bags I sold right out of college. I don't know how I feel about the triangles in the print. Perhaps it just looks better than the other sample they made with the full image. But this is another company that's doing something very similar to what I'm doing, but on a much larger scale in terms of sales. So not that long ago, about a year ago, I met a woman in Providence who was from Mozambique, Africa, and her father is a hunter. And I purchased a whole pile of exotic skins from him. This is Nile lizard. It's all sustainable leather. You can see the scaling texture in this leather is really remarkable. This is a photograph I took, a photographer took, of a model carrying this bag. This has become, since then, one of my most sought after evening bags. This is a clutch that I made. It's two-tone, black on one side, white on the other, and the lining of the bag is that signature print from my senior year in college. I still use it to this day. This is a python skin bag that I made with a skin from the same hunter. It's a really large snake. It was about 25 feet long, a couple of feet wide at its widest part. Python has become very desirable. However, it's illegal in some states. You can't sell python in California. It's also difficult to travel. TSA has some regulations, so it depends on the market, but in New York, python is incredibly popular. It is sustainable. They also have a major python infestation problem in Florida right now. This is another python bag. I worked with the incision of the skin, so that center strip down the middle is, without me folding over the corners of the hide at all. Oftentimes designers try to not show that part to make it more consistent. Because I don't have manufactured goods, because I'm not working on an assembly line, each bag is treated as one of a kind. And these tears, these inconsistencies, are part of what make a smaller operation, part of what makes it possible for me to make something that a factory cannot. This is another one of the python bags. You can see the top right corner is there's some numbers that are used to identify the skin in the trading process and shipping. The pink is an Italian leather. These bags are embossed leather, so it's cowhide that's pressed to look like crocodile. And then I lined the inside of the bag with eel skin, which is fished off of the coast of Maine. It's a parasitic fish that attaches to other fish when they're netting and catching. It's totally sustainable. The skins are then removed and processed in South Korea, and they're sewn together, so you can see strips. It's an incredibly soft material to work with. Inside each of these bags is a clutch that unsnaps so you can take the clutch out. By my house, there's a school. And I see this sign every single day, and I can't help but think, it looks like they're carrying handbags. So this was the photo concept I came up with. I made the school bus bag and the crosswalk bag. And I have just a couple more video clips that I want to show. One is of my runway collection, so you can see how I took my process and translated it into performance. I had one other video clip, but just looking at the time, I want to leave plenty of time to talk after class. I will say that there's a couple of things technologically that I'm very interested in right now. 3D printing is one of them. There's a really cool clip on a dress made for Dita Von Teese on YouTube. Really, really spectacular process. The inspiration behind the dress is very similar to the way that I work, so I recommend you checking that out on your own afterwards. And I thought I would show you just a couple of sample bags that I made and then open it up to questions. This is Python. The neon scraps of leather are pieces that some designers might throw away. I think they're really cool. As far as my own design aesthetic, I really reference the 80s a lot with color and also the structures that I use. This is